ELDORET Technical and Training Institute. We want to say thank you very much for your support for this live broadcast of a farm clinic here in the county of Uasin Gishu. As I noted, our theme in this particular farm clinic is climate smart agriculture, fostering resilience for food security. I repeat that again. Our theme for this particular farm clinic is climate smart agriculture, fostering resilience for food security, and you are going to learn quite a lot regarding that particular theme. Let me just introduce my panel this morning who will be helping us understand matters to do with that particular topic. The person who is seated next to me is Mr. Hosea Kiplagat. Karibu sana, Mr. Hosea Kiplagat. He is the Dean of Students at ELDORET Technical and Training Institutes, one of our very key partners for this particular live broadcast. Seated next to him is Dr. Narendra Raval Guru. Thank you very much for joining us. He's the chairman for Devki Group of Companies, which produces Mavuno Fertilizer, our key sponsor for this particular broadcast. Asante sana, and many thanks for joining us. Seated next to him is Professor Paul Kimorto. He is a professor at Egerton University. Thank you very much for joining us. Seated next to him is a representative from the Ministry of Agriculture, and we have Bwana James Singi. Thank you very much for being here. Last but never the least, we have David Abiwat. He is a manager for Matters Agriculture at KVDA. Many thanks, and we also want to note that Seeds of Gold pull out which focuses on matters agriculture every Saturday in our Daily Nation paper. Our assistant company is also playing a key role for our presence here today. Karibu. We start with you, Bwana Hosea Kiplagat. What are some of the training opportunities at EETI that you have put in place to ensure that the products that come from EETI are climate smart and they understand the dynamics that have since changed when it comes to matters agriculture, be it crop and animal husbandry?
Thank you. ETTI is a TVET training institution established in 2009 but was registered by government in 2011. In 2017, we were accredited by TVET to over TVET-based programs. Understandably, TVET moves from skilling
Mr. Hosea, I'm afraid your mic has a bit of a problem. So maybe we could share mine. Use mine.
Thank you.
Or is that working?
Yeah,
Let's
it's
try.
working, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So sorry for that. We were established in 2009. That is ELDORET Technical Training Institute. We were registered by government in 2011, then by MOHEST, and then later on we were accredited by TVET in 2017. So the programs we offer are TVET-based programs. These are programs that are skill-based. And we have a number of programs in agriculture, ranging from agribusiness, entrepreneurial agriculture, diploma and certificate in general agriculture and extension services. There is agriculture engineering. We also have animal health and production. We were accredited in 2019 to offer certificate in veterinary or animal health. We understand that agriculture employs 40% of the population of Kenya. We also understand that agriculture contributes 26% of GDP directly and 27% indirectly. But we also know that agriculture is performing suboptimally, largely because the people who are engaged in agriculture do not have the skills to do a good production. So the people that we produce, our students that we produce, we intend that they should be able to support the farmers. They should be able to make agriculture attractive. Sometimes the complaint is that majority of people who went to school do not want to do agriculture. Some of the reason is because agriculture doesn't seem to pay. And it doesn't seem to pay because we are doing it the wrong way.
Especially for the younger generation.
Yes, especially for the younger generation, yes. The other thing again is that if you look at the county where we are, Uasin Gishu, sometimes we were talking to extension officers and they told us that the kind of agriculture that we do, most people grow wheat, they grow maize. Largely that is moving to, it's becoming subsistence. And therefore, for the past about a year and something, the county has been distributing seedlings for avocado. And we are also doing it. We have some in our farm. We are trying to do some research on how best to be able to produce with the minimal cost possible, because that's the only way that you can be able to make agriculture meaningful. The other thing that we are also emphasizing as part of what we train, how to keep proper records. Sometimes banks do not give loans. And some of the reasons why they don't give loans for agriculture is because there are no records. You could be making a lot of money, but there is nothing that the bank can have to look at in order that they satisfy themselves that the kind of work you do can pay.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll come back to you on more. Dr. Guru, when it comes to climate smart agriculture, then we narrow down to agricultural inputs. What are you doing as Mavuno Fertilizer to ensure that the products that you're giving to our farmers are climate smart and are indeed what they need now, because agriculture keeps changing over the years? For instance, last year we had different rainfall patterns and all that. So how are you keeping in tabs and ensuring that you support climate smart agriculture?
Thank you. Climate change is really changing the pattern of not only to the weather, but also pattern of the plowing and agriculture outcome. And actually speaking, at the moment, we and the farmers are, all of us are a bit confused because rain never lasted for 6 months. This year we have seen the rain is coming up to now. So of course there is a big climate change and we have to change with the time. And we are now in the manufacturing of the Mavuno fertilizer. And Mavuno fertilizer is, we just don't want to sell somebody one item and that is equal for everything. We would like to give it in such a way that it is tested with the individual places, soil. We do test all Kenya, we have mapped it. It was soil tested everywhere. And the fertilizer which we make now, Mavuno, it is not only the fertilizer, but it is a technology that will give about 40% higher crop because of it is soil suitable. We don't want to make the fertilizer which makes your soil very acidic or very salty. And after 4 years, you may get an ordinary fertilizer, you may get a good crop, maybe for a year, 2, 3. And then the soil dies. After that, you may not get any crop out of it, even if you put good fertilizer. So this fertilizer, what we make, it gives the life for much longer time and gives the better life, because it will, if it is acidic, it will make less acidic, and if it is salty, it will make less salty. Calciums and everything we add it in such a way that it suits to the particular area in the country, and we sell it accordingly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Professor Kimurto, Egerton University is among the universities that have played a key role when it comes to producing graduates who are smart when it comes to matters agriculture. That particular field, of course, now you're closely sharing with TVET schools, for instance, EATI. There's some who argue that at university level, when it comes to matters agriculture, there is little practicability to the studies, and perhaps that sort of dilutes the kind of graduates that we release to the field when it comes to matters agriculture. How do you ensure that you stay afloat and, of course, updated when it comes to your students?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think Egerton University, from 1939, we have been training high-level graduates. And therefore, even as you look at the changes in requirements for the agricultural sector, Egerton has continuously maintained training of agricultural graduates which are required by the sector. Over time, we've looked at our programs, and even currently, with the advent of climate change, we are looking at changing programs so that we can actually train students who are able to be able to advise farmers and also do farm management in all aspects, from engineering, because climate change is about reduction or increase in soil, in the amount of rainfall. So we know the soil needs to be plowed in a different way. The crops that need to be planted should be the short season crops. the animal breeds that are required should be the ones that don't also contribute to climate change by producing a lot of methane. And we know to reduce climate, the carbon dioxide in the environment and methane, we need to fix carbon in the soil through ensuring that the crop residues that contain carbon are retained in the soil. And the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, should be maintained by climate-smart agricultural practices. So as Egerton, we have continuously trained from diploma all the way to PhD. And we do research together with the ministry, and most of our technologies are now being utilized by the counties.
Okay, very well. James Singi from the Ministry of Agriculture, you're in a department where you're ensuring that Kenya is climate smart through some agricultural projects. Many a times Kenyans would say the government is not doing enough, or in other instances, the government is doing nothing at all. So what is the government doing towards this?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, the government has an obligation to offer services to its citizens, and through the Ministry of Agriculture, we have seen the government enhancing its resource allocation to the ministry so that they are able to offer timely and sufficient services. And it's through the same spirit that the national government, through the Treasury, is reaching to other partners, because resources are never enough, so that they are able to create synergies to ensure that we have sufficient services. So it's through the same effort that the government has reached to the World Bank and secured a loan worth 25 billion to implement programs in 24 counties through Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Practices. And this is contributing to Vision 2030 and the Big Four. One of the pillars of what His Excellency the President intends to achieve during his term is food and nutritional security, that being a very important pillar. So through this farm cleaning that we are gathering here, and what the ministry is doing through KSAP as a project, KSAP has 5 components. The first one is upscaling climate smart agriculture practices, where 60% of those resources will be spent, and that those resources are going to the counties where activities are taking place. And again, we cannot achieve climate smart agriculture without technologies. We have a component, that's component 2, that is dealing with the research and systems, and we are involving all the NAS institutions, call them in this country, and they are bringing technologies that are supposed to address issues that are climate, they will enhance agriculture being climate smart. Then we have agro-weather, markets, and advisory services. We are also partnering with the meteorology department, where we are supposed to get real-time weather information that is going to inform our production systems. Finally, we have a coordination unit, but then we have another component that is dealing with emergencies. Right now, we are going through a transition of invention of locusts, and we are at high levels to see as a project how we are going to support that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. David Biwott, a manager in agribusiness from KVDA. KVDA has had a very good opportunity over the years to interact one-on-one with the farmers through the programs that you offer. So in your support or in your extension services, how have you been able to tackle the issue of our farmers just adapting to the changes in matters climate, in ensuring that they become resilient then in food production?
I'm Kerio Valley Development Authority. It's an institution, is under the national government, falling under the Ministry of East African Community and Regional Development. we have our head office here in Eldoret and operating in 5 counties in the north-western part of this country, whereby much of it, almost 80% of the land, is arid and semi-arid. And the Kerio Valley Development Authority, we know that the negative effects of climate change are mostly felt by inhabitants of those areas, the ASAL areas. And the Kerio Valley Development Authority, we are currently implementing a number of irrigation schemes to bring more land under irrigation in the northwestern part of Kenya. In Turkana County, we are currently doing the Napu 2 irrigation project, which has an area of about 150 acres of land that will soon be put under crop production to provide food for our people in that part of this country. In West Pokot County, we are currently doing a Wayway irrigation project, which is covering about 2,000 acres. And currently we are doing phase 3 to bring in another 812 acres of land under irrigation, where farmers are doing mainly seed maize, working closely with other seed companies like Kenya Seed Company, Western Seed, and others. We're also doing other projects in the same county, like the Lamut irrigation project, which is currently ongoing and soon will be ready to be handed over to the farmers. In Elgeyo Marakwet, we also have a number of irrigation schemes from Aror, Todd, and Sangach, all in Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Okay, thank you. Bwana Jose, we come back to you. Of course, when it comes to climate smart agriculture, one thing that crops up is entrepreneurship when it comes to the sector of agriculture. The younger generation, when you talk to them as to the reasons why they seemingly don't embrace agribusiness, as you had indicated, is matters to do with the factors of production and the main one being capital. So how do you equip your students at EETTI to ensure that they are ready for that particular challenge when it crops up after school?
Thank you. Agriculture, you don't have to succeed because you have a lot of money. A little intention to succeed. One cow, or maybe one chick or one chicken, is you start slowly. And what we do is that there is a program in entrepreneurship, and the way in which we show them from the farm is that if you can start, like we started a pig farm. We started with 5 pigs. Right now we are talking about 1,000 pigs. If you manage them well, you start small, you manage them well, then you can be able to succeed. Because in any case, we no longer have those large farms that we used to have.
Yes.
So you start small and you will succeed.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Dr. Guru, your fertilizer, Mavuno fertilizer, is soil and crop specific. One, have you sort of gone round the country to ensure that you have the right products for the different regions in the country, and has that brought about maybe a cost, an extra cost to our farmers, or Mavuno is able to retail at a fair price to our farmers in the country, even as they seek to be climate smart?
It's a very good question, because, see, once again I will say, for any disease you cannot take one medicine. Like if you have a flu, or if you have a cough, or if you have a headache, it may not be one medicine. All medicines are different for each one. Similar way, our people, my staff and engineers have mapped whole Kenya and gone to each and every places and tested the soil, what they grow and what kind of soil is. And then accordingly we have designed the Mavuno fertilizer so that it gives the maximum productivity.
Yeah.
In fact, it gives approximately 40% more than what you are getting. And the soil will be alive because soil is getting what the soil needs. You cannot give more oxygen somebody doesn't need. or a soil doesn't need, or you can't give more nitrogen, or you can't give more what is not needed. You can give, sometimes you need to reduce, sometimes you need to increase. So mavuno is made as per, you can say, is a map to measure for the Kenyan soil, and it is crop specific, because each crop we would like to give the specific fertilizer to get the maximum benefit to the farmers. And that is what I advise, that they should not use any fertilizer, but should use the specific fertilizer, so that soil gives the life for longer period and gives better crop production.
Okay, thank you. Professor Kimurso, the role of universities here in the country when it comes to research and technology is big. What sort of contribution as universities are you giving the country towards farmers, or even the country just being climate smart when it comes to food production?
Thank you so much, Rose, once again. The universities have a big role in looking at all the research, searching for technologies that are required by the farmers. For example, we have looked at all the crop varieties required by different farmers in different agroecologies. And when you look at the current varieties we have some that can mature very early without losing on the yield, to capture or to complete their production cycle within the short range. Because in some parts of the country, the arid and semi-arid areas, where the climate change is becoming more and more serious, research has looked at genetic material that is available, improve them, cut on cropping cycles, and maintain the yield.
Yeah.
If you also look at the type of conservation agriculture that is being practiced now, research is contributing significantly, and this is led by the universities and also by CALRO. We do this together with postgraduate students, and we have several collaborators, both from regionally and internationally. Egerton University has worked on quite a number of products. For example, we have very good bean varieties that are good for medium and low altitude areas. We've also developed finger millet varieties, sorghum, including sorghum for brewery, because the growth in the industry of sorghum now is that the industry requires sorghum even for brewery and even for bread. And since maize is no longer becoming more adapted in the low altitude areas, we are developing varieties that are adapted into those areas so that the farmers can actually be food secure, and they can also go into agribusiness. They produce malting sorghum to be used in brewing industry.
Okay.
So similarly, for a long time, the universities have also been weaker in industrial linkage. For example, we have been doing research, and commercialization of those research has been a challenge. And it's a big problem, still a big problem. But Egerton, at least for the last 6 years, they partnered with Nation Media, and we are the ones that are collaborating with you in the Seeds of Gold. We generate our knowledge, we put technologies from partners, and we publish. Recently also, we are quite happy to have the president appointing a chancellor seated next to me to be a chancellor of Egerton University, an industrialist and entrepreneur. So we hope that as our graduates come out, we link with the industry so that the research and knowledge that comes from the universities
then
can
becomes
be actually
useful.
commercialized.
Yes, thank you for that, Professor. James Singi, your interactions with the county governments, granted that agriculture is largely a devolved function, when it comes to this particular issue of climate smart agriculture, as the national government, how are you working with the county governments to ensure that everything within the two arms of government is in tandem?
Thank you very much. I want to point out that one of the key roles of the government, including the devolved government, that's the counties, is creating an enabling environment for this. For things to function. I must say that the national government and county governments are working in tandem. They are working well, and the role of the national government is to provide the county government with the resources which they have done and done timely. Now it's upon the counties now to set up systems that are supposed to enable things happen. And for climate smart agriculture project, so far we are doing very well. We have programs, and we are also partnering with other stakeholders to ensure that things move faster and in a direction that they are supposed to give the required impacts. So far, we also collaborating with other institutions. For instance, component 2, which I talked of, research and systems, which is ended by Kauro. Kauro has brought together all the NAS institutions, including universities. We have worked with other universities, mainstream universities, University of Nairobi. We have worked very closely with University of Egerton, Egerton University, where Professor Kimuruto has been a very key player. We are also offering training, short and long-term trainings to bridge the skills gap. For instance, currently we have offered 172 long courses, 76 PhDs, 96 masters, and these have been drawn across all the NAS institutions, including ministries. And we believe that what they are going to do is, whatever they have chosen to do is aligned to climate smart agriculture. We are also supporting collaborative and adaptive research at a tune of $1 billion each. And the research will contribute immensely to reversing the negative, trend in terms of what is happening to our environment.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. David Biwott, I would want you to talk to us about some recent or examples of farming solutions which are climate smart and which you as KVDA has been able to incorporate to farmers in the region.
Yeah, as Kerio Valley Development Authority, we are currently promoting environmentally friendly enterprises for the farmers. One such example is beekeeping and honey production. We realize that there is a lot of huge potential for honey production in this region, but unfortunately only 20%. The farmers have only exploited only 20% of the potential, and hence we don't have enough honey for use locally or even for export. As Kerio Valley Development Authority, we are currently promoting the use of the modern hives, Langstroth, Kenya Topa hive, and the improved log hives. That is cheap and which farmers can access within the areas of operation. Currently, as KVDA, we run a wood workshop at Cabernet in Baringo County, whereby we are producing between 5,000 to 10,000 units of modern hives. The same are sold or issued to the farmers, and once they have honey, surplus honey for sale, Kerio Valley Development Authority is available to take up their produce, process, brand, and market. We're currently marketing the honey as Kerio Valley Pure Natural Acacia Honey.
Okay, well done. I hope you brought us some after this, eh?
Yeah, they're available.
Thank you. Come back to you, Mr. Hosea Kiplegat. What are some of the advantages that you would number for our viewers when it comes to climate smart agriculture and technologies? What are some of the benefits?
At the moment, we are grappling with lifestyle disease and diabetes, high blood pressure. Most of these are accelerated by what we consume, including even cancer. So that's why it is important that we do save agriculture. And we are one of the institutions that we are already doing that. In our farm, we have about 500 beehives, the modern ones that KVD are talking about. We also do not use fertilizer. We use organic fertilizer. We make them from the byproducts from the animals. Then we make them and then we use them in our farms. Yeah.
Thank you. And Dr. Guru, one of the benefits of being climate smart is increased resilience and improved food security. Through your product, Mavuno Fertilizer, have you seen these practically when it comes to our farmers? And maybe when you talk to us, perhaps you can even give us an example of, say, how a farmer A used Mavuno for an acre of land to produce any produce, e.g. maize, wheat, and what were the variances which came about in their production after using climate smart Mavuno fertilizer?
Thank you. Mavuno fertilizer is as I told you, it is crop specific. For example, in Kakamega County, the Mavuno fertilizer used last many years, not this year. It is a 40 years old brand. And time to time it has been developed in such a way that it suits to the environment and the soil. In 1 acre land, for example, if you are getting 30 bags of maize, and the same year, next year, if you use the Mavuno fertilizers, we have 90% farmers have confirmed that they have got 40 bags, and the soil is the same. It is not no problem. And also we have the example of the other farmers who got 40 bags from the other fertilizer 1 year, 2 year, and then now it's gone back to 20 bags because soil dies. So this is what we do. As I told you, that we would like to make sure that we give the fertilizer, and not fertilizer, but the technology that keeps your soil alive and gives you more productivity. And that's why I always insist that use Mavuno fertilizer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Fair enough. Professor, we come to you and want to understand the issue of data. It is very important when you're dealing with anything, when you're offering a solution. So when you want to offer climate smart solutions in matters agriculture as a country, how are we prepared about data? Say on our farmers, do we have figures that you're working with to understand how consumption is also doing, at what percentage are we as a country, and what more do we need to do?
Thank you so much. I think a very good question on data. When you look at the national spatial weather stations that are available in the country to take up the data, we are fairly weak in terms of data availability to be utilized in advising on climate change. Because the data to be useful should be 20, 30 years old to know what has been changing in temperature, what has been changing in rainfall patterns. And when you look at, for a long time, the main weather station has been in Nairobi. When you look at counties now, there is a lot of investment on data weather stations, and also looking at data changes in even in rainfall patterns. So when we, and it is the most important factor anyway, for us to advise on climate change and to be able to mitigate, we need to have long-term data. So I would say we are not well prepared. Yeah. And since climate change is going to be here with us, we really need to really discuss with the national government, research institutions, and also county governments, so that we can quickly begin to capture data, and even data on productivity, data on diseases. Because climate change is bringing serious diseases in the drylands, affecting crops, affecting livestock, and even these locusts now is because of winds that are moving, because of changes in the weather patterns in the Middle East. And when you look at, even now, we are approaching March, and the temperatures are still very high in the drylands. What does that mean? It means a long time ago, the temperatures were lower, and these insects may stay for a long time. And they're even going into the highlands. They have been spotted in this county, in some parts of this county, which is really, it tells you the temperatures have gone up 1 or 2 degrees high. So data, we need to work on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Singhi, do you want to comment on the same?
Yes. I want to make a very critical observation from what is even happening in this clinic. As government, we are we are playing all the roles which have been mentioned here. I just want to start with the training, which I said that we have already offered support for long-term trainings. We are also going to offer support for short-term trainings, and they are supposed to address gaps in the agricultural sector. Issues of safeguards, what Dr. has just mentioned, safety. As a minister and even the project, we have our own docket on environmental social safeguards. So all the activities that we are going to carry out should be in conformity with food safety and even the safety of those who are handling the development. We are also handling issues of data. For instance, in component 3, where we have markets, agro-weather, there is an entire space where we are supposed to consolidate all the data in terms of production, with the data, and this data is supposed to be communicated to the consumers. The consumers are the farmers, so that they are able to know whether the decisions that they are making in terms of production, they are addressing the real challenges of climate change. Yeah, and that is why in the project we have critical value chains. Critical value chains. These are crops that are climate smart.
Okay.
So, and also in terms of extension, we are the custodian of extension as a ministry. And again, there's another layer that we have added, that is service provision, where we are engaging what we are calling service providers to supplement or enhance extension, public extension.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Professor, you're at content with his answer? With the data issue, how the government is responding to it.
Yes, what Singi is saying is that we are starting to look at it now. Yeah. The government has actually gotten a grant from the World Bank, which also Egerton University we are highly involved on climate change. But when you look at the past, we are now beginning to address it. We've never addressed the issue of data from the different risk zones for a very long time. Okay. When you look at the whole of northern Kenya, and all the arid and semi-arid counties, you rarely get a weather station to predict and to even get data to monitor the changes in the climate for a long time. So we are very happy that the ministry is now
doing something about it. Yes. Very well, thank you. Mr. David Biwott, what are some of the patterns that you have observed in your region of operations that need immediate attention when it comes to climate change and the need for us to now start being climate smart?
Yeah, in the northwestern part of this country, we have realized that the droughts, prolonged droughts are now becoming very regular, and almost following, in 3 years consecutively, there is a serious drought, and they are also not predictable. When we are expecting rains, instead we get droughts. So as maybe as an organization, what we are doing is we are currently also promoting grass species, pasture species, that can survive under those very harsh conditions, and even where you cannot have a crop, at least you'll have enough pastures to support livestock. So one such grass species is the Cenchrus ciliaris, African foxtail grass, which we are currently bulking the seeds to make it available for our farmers in the whole north and the northeastern part of this country. As Kerio Valley Development Authority, we have adequate supplies of that seed, and we encourage our farmers to come for the seed and plant, and so that they can support the livestock. Don't forget that livestock rearing is the mainstay economic activity in that part of this country.
Thank you, Mr. David. And dear, very remember, we are having this conversation because on this day we have a very exciting activity here. It is a farm clinic day, and quite a number of persons have already made their way here. And if you're in Eldoret and its environs, just make your way here at Tax Center right behind Zion Mall, where this conversation will be going on for the better part of today. Our theme for this particular farm clinic is climate smart agriculture, fostering resilience for food security, and for our farmers and even those in the field of agribusiness. You'll be able to just learn a lot. We have a number of exhibitors who have made their way here, and they're already waiting for you to be able to share with you thoughts and also answer your questions when it comes to crop and animal husbandry. We want to say asante sana to all of them who have already made their way here, and we also note that our sponsors for the day, that is ELDORET Technical and Training Institute, are also here, and Mavuno Fertilizer. We're also coming to you live from ELDORET Technical and Training Institute in Kapseret area, still here in Uasin Gishu County, to just give you a feel of what they are doing in that particular training institute to ensure that their graduates are climate smart, and they will contribute heavily towards ensuring that the country is food secure. Back to you, Mr. Hosea. Now that I've been talking about the ETTI, I want you to talk about results. As an institution, have you already started reaping the benefits of ensuring your students are climate smart? What are they doing after graduating, and where can we spot them doing all those things to ensure that then they're able to apply whatever they have learned in school?
Thank you. We have so far graduated a number of students in the Department of Agriculture. Of course, there are many other departments that we have, but we have students working for Kenya Seed. We have students who are offering extension services around this place. Sometimes last year we had a stakeholders discussion at Sikada, and we invited a number of people. We had lecturers from Egerton, Dr. Migwi and we also had a few from University of Eldoret. We had extension officers from here, Uasin Gishu. And the truth is that they were telling us how they are interacting with our students. Because one of the things that emerged at that time is that most of the students, according to the extension officers that we met, most students come from university without, or from colleges without skills. But I love the fact that they appreciate that a majority of the students they have interacted with from our school, they actually know what they are supposed to be doing outside there. So we have quite a number of them. Some of them are working in these agrofets around this place, because that's where they meet with the farmers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Guru, when it comes to climate smart technologies, the private sector has played a key role in supporting the Kenyan government towards this. How enabling is the environment for the private sector to offer support towards Kenyans through technologies and solutions in climate smart technology?
See, climate is not in our hand, and of course private sector has got the role to play in helping providing the technology to overcome the climate change. And it doesn't affect only Kenya, it affects whole world. And we are the part of it to change the climate, because we release so much carbon. And we don't care about cutting the trees. So, of course, as a private sector, one thing is which we do as a Devki group of companies, we put 500,000 trees to see how we can save the climate change, how we can slow it down. It is going to change, it is going to change. But we can try and see how we can slow it down by putting up more trees and saving the waters, making the more and more dams, preserving our water. Private sector has got a lot of roles to play. We as an industry have our water is all are recirculated. It was not before. Now we use the same water. I have put a 1 million cubic meter of dam in Kwale County, which is going to be used for us and also for the people of Kwale County, because they don't have water. After the rain goes, there is no maji hakuna. So we do whatever we can to counter the climate change. It is not only to do with the farming, but it is to do with everything. So private sector has got the role to play, that how we can improve the climate change in our country and improve the life of our people. And I think that's what I can say in climate change.
Do you feel the government is making it easy for the private sector to do that?
No, in the private sector, there is nothing government can do, because private sector is totally private sector and they have to do it themselves. It is not that easy to do, because anybody is having an industry, and to continue working for the climate change, it is not profitable. It is, let's face it. So nobody wants to spend money and time where there is no profit. But private sector is supposed to be doing it because of there is a NEMA. NEMA is supposed to force the private sector that you must do so much, because you are releasing so much carbon, you must plant so much tree. These are the rules for all the airlines in the world. That if you are having so much carbon you are releasing in the air, you must buy the carbon from the plantations and do the more and more planting of the trees, and that is only what going to save us. And bad news is, in the morning today I left Nakuru and I saw one locust in the morning in my ground. So it looks like they are coming.
They're making their way here?
Yeah, Nagoja.
Okay. Professor Kimurto, the desire for knowledge, is it very, very big when it comes to our farmers and Kenyans in general, when it comes to issues of climate change and issues of just being climate smart? Are our farmers desiring knowledge? Do they come to you? Do they visit the universities? Do they just try to access information, or are they being a bit complacent when it comes to them playing their role of being climate smart?
Thank you so much. I think the information about climate change is always, for a long time, our farmers have not been getting enough information. Yeah. Several studies has been done after devolution by Tekemeo, and they're in the public domain. The impact of extension and information to farmers after devolution. The results are that extension services and information delivery to farmers declined, despite the high investment by the counties in the agricultural sector. The reasoning behind is that it looks like there were more investments in the hardware and less investments in the software. And the software is to facilitate the delivery of the information by extension staff. We are happy as Egerton that for a very long time we produce the best graduates, both in agricultural extension and teaching, and also agricultural extension officers. When you look at the country, at some time we may have gone down a bit in terms of refocusing on skills. But right now, we still think we are the best university on extension and training of agricultural researchers, all the way up to PhD, for example. So what is the status of information to farmers? I'm happy that the ministry are doing something, national government. But when you look at the information available now to farmers related to climate change and then resilience and mitigation, it is still low. We still need to do more. Because the technologies that are required in these climate change scenarios are different from the old information. So we need to tell the farmers. He's talked about the African foxtail grass. It is very different from the rose grass we know. So there is still more that we need to do to deliver information to farmers. We are very happy with Seeds of Gold, for example. We've seen a lot of readership on it, and farmers are very happy. They come to Egerton to inquire many a times. So we need to still talk to private sector and even the ministry to still do more. And we do forecast delivery of information on the climate smart information and technologies.
Bonasingi, as government, what are you doing to ensure that information on climate smart agriculture then reaches Mananchi at the very basic level in the villages, for instance?
Yes, again, that's a very critical observation. as a ministry, we as custodian of extension, we have extension staff, and we have also realized that that has not been sufficient, and that is where now we have gone. We are thinking outside the box, and we are investing in contracting private extension so that they can support public extension. In addition to that, because as a government we deal with, we don't deal with individuals, rather the community as a whole. Our entry point, we have the community institutions, the groups, what we are calling the common interested groups. These are people who have shown interest in pursuing something that is common and is going to bring benefits to them. And again, within that particular group, we have also established a criteria so that we identify a member within the group whom we are calling a lead farmer.
A champion of sorts.
Yes, so that this farmer can also add value to what public and private extension is doing. So basically, dissemination pathways, we want to enhance and ensure that the information that is lacking, going to the grassroots, is available. On top of that, we also want to empower the communities through always, even social media. Yeah, because knowledge has no boundaries. So once the community is empowered, it means that they are able now to carry out their own developments. They are able to establish where they can get the right information at the right time, and quality information that is able to assist them.
Okay, okay, great. Bwana David Biwott, when you're interacting with farmers at very Mwananchi level, say a mango farmer at the Kerio Valley or a beekeeping farmer, do they understand issues to do with climate change and climate smart agriculture, or do they simply ask questions to you which perhaps you can pick that maybe they don't have all the necessary information that they have, and how do you tackle that as KVDA?
As Kerio Valley Development Authority, we have farms across the region where we carry out demonstrations and also do commercial farming alongside the farmers. And since wherever we are, we provide extension services to the neighboring farmers. And we also get feedback from our farmers. Like you have mentioned the mango. We are currently promoting the mango value chain in the valley. One, because it is a crop that can survive under those arid conditions, and so long as you provide water the first 1, 2, 3 years, thereafter the tree can give you enough fruits for sale, for consumption, and also for processing. Now, as Kerio Valley Development Authority, we have about 7 nurseries, certified nurseries, where we are raising mango seedlings for all the varieties, especially the improved varieties, like the apple mango, Kent, Tommy Atkins, Ngowe, and others. And what we are doing is, one, the mango will give you food. At the same time, it will contribute towards the 10% vegetation coverage in this country. And in so doing, we are addressing issues of climate change by using the mango.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Mr. Hosea, we come back to you. Bwana Singi will agree with me that the government has been very, very key in ensuring TVET institutions where you sit, then give very detailed knowledge and skills to our students who are in school. How is the uptake? Granted that the government is giving too much support to the TVET institutions, how then is the uptake when it comes to the parents and the students? Are they willing to come in numbers to TVET institutions for them to start learning some of these skills which are really needed in the country, for instance, with our focus here on matters agriculture?
The uptake is good. As we sit here now, ETTI has a population of about 5,000 students. 650 are doing agriculture and related courses. For as long as you offer them the right product, and for as long as when the students come, they get the right material, then the society appreciates that. You see, there is something about extension services, like Mr. Singh said. There has been a difference between the knowledge the graduate carry and the expectation of the farmer. Sometimes it frustrates a graduate when you go to a farmer who already knows more than you. So if you hit the first one and the second one, the third one frustrates, and you may not want to do extension services. And that's why maybe for some time extension services went down. Because of technology, there are farmers who went to school, they can access information from the internet. Now you have a student who is stuck with knowledge that they got from school, not well researched. But when you have a conscious institution, like I talked about a stakeholder discussion that we had last year, then we get to reflect on the expectation of the industry, the expectation of the farmer, and then we see how to fill in that gap. Whether it is in the curriculum provided by TVET or not, it is our obligation as an institution to be able to make sure that, you see, there are some very small things. You can visit a farmer today, then you discuss on how they need to improve their production, and you give them some knowledge. After 2 weeks, you come, you expect change, and you realize that they didn't move. Now, maybe if you have some counseling psychological skills slightly, you may realize that the problem is not because they do not want to do or they didn't understand, but maybe they have some other challenges. Maybe someone is unwell. Now, if you provide counseling at that point, then you give them another 2 weeks, you will find that there is some change. So once we fill in that gap, the society appreciates, and once they appreciate, they all want to go to school. So the uptake is good.
Okay, that's good to hear. Dr. Guru, will come back to you. You let us know, as a manufacturer, are there challenges that you're experiencing in trying to give solutions to climate smart agriculture, and what sort of support would you need on that? In the meantime, like I had noted earlier, dear viewer, we're also live at ETTI, that is the ELDORET Technical and Training Institution in Kapseret constituency here in the county of Uasin Gishu. And now I want us to link up with my colleague Gabriel Kudaka, who's standing by on that side of Kapseret. We also get to understand what ETTI is doing in ensuring that they have solutions towards climate smart agriculture. Remember, they are part of our major sponsors for this live broadcast of a farm clinic, also being supported very, very closely by Mavuno Fertilizer. For now, let's talk to Kudaka. Kudaka?
Yeah, Lois, how are you, Lois? Thank you so much. We are coming to you live from ELDORET Technical Training Institute Practicals Farm, where this woman came here for practical sessions. When a farm manager, tell us more about this farm, what happens here.
Okay, my name is Ben Kibet. Mimi ndio manager upande wa ETTI Farm ELDORET. Now, this is a farm that we do practicum and we also do demonstration. Na kusema hivyo ni kwamba tunafanya mambo yetu katika hali ya kiasilia, ambao wajibu wetu sana ni kuelimisha wakulima, kuelimisha wanafunzi wetu, na basically kufanya vitu ambayo inastahili kufanyika. Na ili niguzie ni kwamba tuko na several sections. Number 1, tuko na pig production, tuko na poultry production, tuko na crop production, tuko na dairy units, tuko na dog section, tuko na greenhouses, na tuko na nurseries. Hizo zote ni kwa wajibu ya kuwaelimisha na kufundisha wanafunzi. Lakini kitu ambayo ninafaa niseme ni kwamba licha kuwa tunafundisha wanafunzi, imefika mahali ambayo tumekuwa tukifanya kitu ambayo tunasema ni technology transfer. Ambayo technology transfer ni inamaanisha kwamba kazi yetu sana ni kwanza tunafundisha wanafunzi. Na kufundisha wanafunzi, when they do theoretical classes, hapa wanakuja wanafanya practically. Na wanapofanya practically, inamaanisha kwamba wao lazima waelewe vitu ambayo tunafanya. Vile vile,
na bwana Kibet, kidogo tu kabla utuendelee, kando na wanafunzi, do you also take care of the locals who stay around this place, or you only cater for the students alone?
What basically we do is that as much as we are doing the case of our students, we want to ensure that we do our practical in the right way. But we went also to an extent that as much as we are doing wanafunzi wetu, tunafanya kwa wanafunzi wetu, lakini kumekuwa na hali ile nia na wakulima na the local consumers wanakuja upande hii, wanataka kuelewa na kujua vile vitu ambavyo sisi wenyewe tunafanya. Na kwa mara mingi hata wakulima, the neighborhood, the local consumers wanakuja upande hii ili pia na wao wapate ile tajriba ama wapate ile mafundisho ambayo tunasema. And that is basically we are saying as much as we are doing animal health and production, tunazingatia kwamba tunapata that transfer to wanafunzi wetu, na at the same time we always do the consultation and we also give extension services. Ilifika mahali tuliona tunafundisha wanafunzi wetu ndio, lakini pia the local community, wakulima ambao ni majirani wetu kutokea kaunti hii yetu na makaunti zingine, wao pia wamefika pande hii, wanataka kufundishwa ili pia na wao wajue yale ambayo tunafundisha. Sana sana pande hii tunataka tuangalie kwamba the animal welfare imefanyika vizuri, na we are doing it in the right way and we are doing it practically. Na at the same time kuna wakulima pia ambao wanakuja wanataka kulearn at the feed formulation, kwa sababu sisi wenyewe we always want to do business, and doing business also means we also need to cut the cost of production by doing the right thing, and that is basically what we are doing here.
Now, have those farmers embraced this kind of farming, having come here for several times to get these skills?
Ile kitu ambayo ninataka kusema without even blinking an eye ni kwamba wakulima wetu wamekuwa wanafurahia kitu ambayo tunafanya sisi wenyewe, na wanapokuja we are doing this stuff, tunafanya mafundisho kwa njia ya kisasa, meaning we are doing it in the state of the art technology ambayo tuko na hapa. Na we will also give room so that also you can also talk to the farmers, you can do your sampling, kwa sababu ninaona kuna wakulima pia wamekuja upande hii, walikuwa wanataka kufundishwa mambo ya nguruwe, wanataka kuona the artificial insemination, kwa sababu basically once tunataka kufanya mambo ya insemination, sisi hatufanyi tukitumia ndume wetu hapa, because we want to control the inbreeding. Na kucontrol inbreeding inamaanisha lazima sisi wenyewe tufanye insemination, na mkulima mwenyewe hako na sisi hapa na wengine pia wako, na nafikiria bwana Kudaka itafika mahali pia utawauliza ili pia na wao waseme kama wanafurahia kitu ambacho tunafanya upande hii.
Asante. Je, unaitwaje na umefaidikaje kuhusu kutokana na hapa mahali hapa hivi mafunzo ya kilimo labda?
Mimi naitwa James Mtua Mcheru, ni mkulima wa nguruwe, lakini tumekuwa tukifuga nguruwe zingine za kienyeji kiasi kwamba nguruwe mzima inakosa kufikisha ile kilo yenye inatakana. So ikawa yenye tunafanya ni ukulima, lakini tunataka kufanya ukulima wa kisasa, ambapo tulielezwa kuna nguruwe wa kisasa ambaye ukilinganisha na ule wa kienyeji mapato ni mengi kwa huyu wa kisasa. So tunataka kuacha hii mambo ya ile nguruwe wa kienyeji, kulisha kwa kienyeji, na hii mambo ya breeding ya kienyeji tunataka kufanya ya kisasa, ambapo hapa ndio nafikiri tumepata solution, kwa sababu tumeona nguruwe moja ambaye kabisa huko kienyeji haizi fikisha kilo zenye huyo ako naye. So tumejifunza mengi na tutabadilisha kabisa, hatutaifuga nguruwe wa kienyeji wakati mwingine.
Na je, mnalipishwa kuja kujifunza hapa ama inakuwa namna gani?
Hapa hatulipishwi, manake hapa ni tunahamasishwa vile tunatakana kuwa tukikuza nini ambaye ni tunalipa tu ya kuingia peke yake tu ya kiingilio. Otherwise ule ujuzi tutapata hapa tutapeleka huko na tuhamasishe wengine ili wapate huo ujuzi na tuwe wakulima wa kisasa, sio wale wa kienyeji.
Kiingilio ni pesa ngapi kwa mfano?
Tulipa shilingi 200 kuingia, ambaye ni ya nini peke yake, ili tuje tufunzwe, na tunafurahia yenye tumeona siku ya leo hapa.
Asante sana. Mwingine ni mgeni ambaye mtazungumzia, mkulima mwingine? Naambiwa kuna farm visits mnafanya hapa kwenu. Yes. Ni siku gani na ni pesa ngapi labda kwa kila visit?
Sisi tunafanya the extension services, na kumekuwa na farm visits ambayo wanafunzi katika chuo kikuu wamekuwa ukikuja. Kama jana tulikuwa na wanafunzi ambao walikuwa natoka chuo kikuu cha Laikipia, na kuna wengine vile vile ambao wametuma maombi ya kukuja kutembea upande hii, ambao tunatarajia kuanzia wiki ijayo ambao ni Jumatano na Jumamosi watakuwa nakuja. Na vile vile tumekuwa na wanafunzi ambao wanatoka katika shule za msingi na sekondari ambao vile vile wamekuwa nafanya somo la agriculture ama kilimo, na pia wao wamekuwa wakikuja upande hii na wanataka kuelewa na kufanya mambo ama yale ambayo anafundisha tu kwa darasa isikuwe tu ni hadithi, lakini ifanyike kwa hali ambayo kuna utaratibu wake, na vile vile pia na wao waelewe ili vile mahitaji ama vile tunafanya maneno yetu. Na ningetaka tu niseme Bwana Kudaka kwamba licha ya kuwa tumekuwa na wakulima ambao wanakuja hapa, tumekuwa vile vile na wanafunzi wetu ambao hao wanafunzi wanasomea somo la kilimo, na vile vile kuna chuo yetu ya ETTI imekuwa ni kati ya yale machuo ambayo inafundisha the animal health. Na sisi tukifundisha animal health, wanafunzi wetu wanakuja kufanya their routine management. Wanafundishwa for example kama mambo ya insemination, kama mambo ya feeding, kama mambo ya kufanya even castration na tail docking kwa upande ya nguruwe. Na vile vile wakati tutakuwa tunafanya the post-mortem analysis, wanafunzi wetu wanakuja wanafanyia upande hii. Na niko na wanafunzi, tutauliza hata mmoja wao, watakuja labda waseme mafundisho yetu ambayo tunafanya hapa ni...
Asante Bwana Kibet. Labda mwanafunzi mmoja tu atuambie tofauti ya kusomea hapa na shule zingine ni gani?
Mimi kwa majina naitwa David Wambugu. Mimi tangu nikuja hapa sikuwa natarajia, na nimelearn mingi kutoka nikuja hapa. Nilikuja huku mwaka uliopita na nimejua kukamua, kucastrate na artificial insemination. Asante.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's what we have from this place at ELDORET Technical Training Institute, Pasture Demonstration Farm. Back to you, Lois. We have much, but we can't have enough time to explain everything.
Thank you very much, Gabriel Kudaka, and impressive works at ELDORET Technical Training Institute. We are now coming to a close of this particular conversation, but that means the farm clinic is beginning officially immediately after this live broadcast. So if you're in ELDORET and its environs, make your way here. Just behind Zion Mall Tax Center is where the farm clinic will be ongoing. Very quickly, gentlemen, your closing remarks. We start with you, Mr. Hosea Kiplagat, Dean of Students, ETTI.
Thank you. I'm the Dean of Studies,
Dean
not
of
students.
Studies, sorry.
And I wish to say that we welcome this initiative for safe agriculture, or smart agriculture, sorry. And we will continue to do our part as an institution to ensure that we produce people who can push it forward. ETTI does not only train agriculture, but we also have other programs especially engineering. We do it very well. Last year, Ministry of Environment and GIZ had a training in our workshops. They were training engineers in the field of refrigeration and air conditioning on safe use of hydrocarbons. So we welcome anybody who wants to take their study in agriculture, in business, in ICT, and in engineering.
Asante, Hosea. Dr. Narendra Guru, Chairman, DevKey Group of Companies. Your closing remarks, sir?
Thank you very much. In short, I will say that thank you very much, NTV, to give such a lovely, informative clinic for our farmers especially. And I really urge all the farmers to take the advantage, as Kenya is a net importer of all the for our food, which is maybe I think 80% of the wheat and 50% of maize we import, 90% of I think rice we import. So we would like to see how we can eliminate this by doing the technical farming and more knowledgeable farming. That is what I'll say, and I'll say use more fertilizer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Guru. Professor Paul Kimurto, Egerton University.
Yeah, thank you so much. I also want to join my fellow colleagues in thanking Nation Media and also the county government of Uasin Gishu for hosting us. I think I want to encourage other counties to host the Seeds of Gold Clinic and invite many other partners for the sake of their farming community. At Egerton University today, we are running for the MAU because climate change is about all the factors that reduce CO2. So we are raising funds to conserve the MAU. Lastly, we want to continue delivering more information to farmers. I think this is the best way to go,
Yeah.
and we encourage farmers to take the technologies that are available. Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Bwana James Singi.
Yes, from the Ministry of Agriculture, and in particular CASA project, we are also humbled to participate in this forum. It has given us a chance to share with the rest of Kenyans what we are doing. Kenya Climate Smart Agri project is about triple wins, that is increased productivity, building resilience, and the reduction of greenhouse gases, because that is what is bringing all these issues of climate change. Okay. So we are looking forward to partnering with all the stakeholders to address the problems that are affecting this country.
Good.
And as one of the pillars in the Big Four, food security and nutrition, that is a goal that we are going to pursue.
Asante Bwana Singi. Last but not least, Bwana David.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Kerio Valley Development Authority, I would like to thank Nation Media Group and Seeds of Gold for giving us this opportunity to participate in this live coverage. As KVDA, we have a stand right inside within the grounds here, whereby we have brought adequate supplies of inputs for our farmers, the seedlings, honey, the beehives, and grass. And therefore, I would like to welcome all of you to visit our stand and learn more about what we do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So right about now, I would want us to have a word from our commercial manager. His name is Mr. Simon Bargurey, who's also on the other end of this particular Seeds of Gold Farm Clinic. Bwana Simon, the floor is all yours. What do you have to say to our sponsors and indeed to our farmers?
Thank you, Lois. Today we're here, the entire team of Nation Media Group, specifically your flagship agribusiness publication, Seeds of Gold, together with our partners, knowledge partner Egerton University and other partners led by the title sponsor Mavuno Fertilizers. We're here to receive you in Uasin Gishu, specifically at Tax Center behind Zion Mall in Eldoret Town. We're here to engage you and be able to engage our farmers who read us on a weekly basis. And we would like to take this moment to basically get to focus on the theme of the day, climate smart agriculture, and looking at how we foster food resilience towards the food security in this changing climate scenario as a country. We would like to invite farmers and those who are viewing us at home to come here and join us and have a good day and be able to basically enjoy a wide range of different knowledge packages that has been done for the different farmers that we have in this part of Uasin Gishu. We welcome everyone within Eldoret Town and within Uasin Gishu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simon Bargurey. He is our commercial manager, just giving his remarks to our sponsors and to Kenyans in general, especially to those around here, Eldoret, in the county of Uasin Gishu and its environs. Those in Iten, you can quickly make your way here. Kapsabet, Kitale, it's not very far. You can make your way here. This is a farm clinic sponsored by Seeds of Gold. It is now the live version of Seeds of Gold. Remember, Seeds of Gold is a very popular agricultural pullout, a weekly one in our sister paper, the Daily Nation. So if you're home, just come, make your way here. My name is Lesangway, and we now resume our usual programming.